Going on, you fucking legends. Today I'm going to teach you how to play the Fury Warrior in Classic Wrath of the Lich King. We'll start off by looking at some simple macros that will change your fucking life. Using these macros will turn your rotation into a 3-button build. Easy as fuck, boys. I'll run through all the macros first, and then we'll get into using the rotation. Firstly, we have Charge and Rend, and Intercept and Slam. These macros work so fucking well together, as one ability is ranged charge ability, and the other is just a melee attack ability, so you can't possibly fuck it up, boys. Next is Bloodthirst and Heroic Strike. Keeping in mind that if you spam the shit out of this, you will run out of fucking rage. I can't stress that enough. Boys, alright? You've been warned. Also, it helps if you've got your tier 7 4-piece passive going. It helps so much with your rage management. The third and final macro is pretty fucking straightforward, boys. It's just macroing any trinket uses you have to your Death Wish ability. That's it. Alright, macros out of the way. We'll look at the rotation, boys. Alright, starting off in battle stance, boys. Before you enter combat, you want to pop Blood Rage and apply either your battle or commanding shout, depending on what raid group or dungeon group you're with. If you've got a few pallies in there and you got might going, you don't need battle shout. You just pop commanding shout and you're good to go. You then want to use your charge rend macro. So you want to charge in, and as soon as you're at melee range, you just keep spamming the same button. You wouldn't really do this on every fight. It's mainly just boss fights. You'd put a rend up. You know, you're not going to charge into a random pack of mobs and put a rend on every fucking bloke you see. As soon as your rend popped off, swap to Berserker stance, and you are going to smack Whirlwind. Whirlwind takes priority over everything, followed by a Bloodthirst and Heroic Strike, and then just weaving in slams when they proc. Just note, boys, don't slam if you've got a Whirlwind or a Bloodthirst up. Use them first. They take prior over a slam. You got 5 seconds to use that slam, so don't stress too hard. Pop your Whirlwind as first prio, and then pop your Bloodthirst, and then weave in slams in between, and then obviously Heroic Strikes as your rage comes. Don't fucking on rage with your Heroic Strikes, okay? Don't sit there spamming that fucking button. Now, if you're wanting a little more control over your build, you can take Heroic Strike off the macro with Bloodthirst. It just depends what you want. If you want a 3-button rotation, macro that shit in. If you're happy enough to press an extra button to make that shit 4 buttons, by all means, take Heroic Strike off. Now, obviously, if you have multiple mobs, you want to be cleaving them over Heroic Strike. Fury Warriors really fucking pop off if you're fighting packs of 3 to 4 mobs, as your Whirlwind ability hits up to 4 mobs, and your cleave, if you have the Glyph of Cleaving, will hit up to 3. Now, as for the execute phase, you still want to prioritize Whirlwind over everything else. The way I've been managing my rotation, it comes with Whirlwind, and then you've got Blood Rage, and then you basically replace Slam and Heroic Strike with Execute. Now, there is an argument to be made that if you have Glyph of Execution, that you would then swap out Bloodthirst and put in Execute. Almost on par. So you basically Whirlwind, Execute, Whirlwind, Execute. That would be your rotation for Execute phase. You still don't want to not hit Whirlwind. It's too good, and you're on an 8-second cooldown if you spec into it, which you should. Now, boys, I will just quickly touch base on scaling. For anyone who has heard this term and not too sure what it's referring to, listen up, you fucks. Scaling's made possible mainly with the talent Improved Berserker Stance, giving you an extra 20% strength. If you have 100 strength, you'll get 20 strength off this talent, right? If you have 200 strength, you'll get 40 strength off this talent. If you're still not picking up what I'm putting down, boys, this means that the more strength you have, the more this talent gives back. This is why Fury Warriors shit on Arms Warriors in later phases, because Arms Warriors only get a shitty 4% increase through Strength of Arms. Fucking strength of dog shit if you ask me. Anyway, boys, that's Fury Warrior in a nutshell. Now get out there and crack some fucking skulls. Like and sub, you fucking dog.